Hi, I'm Anis, an Actuarial Science and Mathematics UK graduate and currently part of the LEAP graduate program at Malaysia Aviation Group, and this is Lepas Sekolah.
Anis, to start off, can you introduce yourself and give us a quick overview of your journey from school to where you are today?
Sure. So, hi, I'm Anis. I started my secondary school journey at SMK Perempuan Sri Aman, which is an all-girls school in Petaling Jaya. So, I stayed there until Form 3, and after PT3, I moved to a boarding school, MRSM Tun Gafar Baba at Melaka for Form 4 and Form 5. And then after that, I went into College Marabanting for the International Baccalaureate Diploma program, and then I flew to Manchester for a degree in actual science and mathematics. And now, after graduating, I'm currently part of the LEAP graduate program at Malaysia Aviation Group and also a part time content creator.
Okay, let's go back to the very beginning, right? How is it like being in an all girls school?
I would say it's a very refreshing and supportive environment because it was an all girls school. You don't feel that pressure in terms of leadership capabilities and all that because they really have that encouraging culture to have you lead, speak up, and push your boundaries in terms of any male dominated fields and all that.
Do you think that being in an all girls school, I mean, you've been in both, right? So, do you think being in an all girls school is more empowering? It builds your ambition, your confidence? Does that help?
I would say to some extent, it's very helpful in pushing us to become more ambitious. But personally, I would say it depends on the school itself. Both are okay, but it depends on what the school offers. So, as long as you have supporting teachers, a very good circle of friends, and a good teaching lessons and opportunity, I believe that either it's all girls or a mixed school, the chance of you to become a better version of yourself is just the same.
And as you mentioned, after PT3, you left Sri Aman, you went to MRSM TGB. Why did you choose to make that decision?
MRSM TGB was mainly my own decision because I felt that I wanted to pursue in something in a more challenging academic environment and the opportunity to grow further. Fun fact, I was offered to pursue boarding school back in Form 1 by my parents and also my teachers, but I refused that offer because I just came back from the UK from attending primary school there, and so, with just 2 years of being in Malaysia, I still wanted to understand the Malaysia school system and syllabus. And so, I rejected the offer to enter boarding school in Form 1, but entered during Form 4.
How much of a difference and how much stepping up did it take going from a normal daily school to a boarding school?
I would say it takes a lot of courage because once you enter boarding school, you really need to have that independence of managing your own schedule and making sure your priorities are well done because you have to balance your extracurricular activities as well as your academics at the same time. And MRSM is known to have a very challenging academic culture.
Was there any culture shocks for you when you first went to MRSM TGB?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but I would say cliques are very prominent when you enter boarding school, especially MRSMs. So if you enter an MRSM starting in Form 4, then you'll realize that there are a lot of cliques that were previously from MRSMs during their first 3 years of secondary school. So since I was from just a normal school, I couldn't really fit in that well at first, but over time, I made friends and it worked out well.
Anis, what advice would you have for students who are making the transition from daily school to a boarding school?
So my biggest advice is that you have to expect that you'll have your independence and also capability to manage your own time and schedules, especially prioritizing your academics as well as activities. Your study hours can vary, especially it can last till night because you'll have your after school study sessions. But also the exciting part about being part of a boarding school is that you'll have your sense of friendships and sense of community there because you'll only have your peers. The difficult thing is that you'll be away from your family, which will take some time to overcome and adapt. So you'll feel homesick at times, but hopefully you'll get there with your friends. So make sure that you have a strong sense of friendships there. And then you don't have a curfew anymore when you're part of a boarding school. I mean, they do check on you, but you don't have a curfew like you have in normal school, which you go back home and you have to do this and do that with your chores. So, and it's fun when you do crazy things with your roommates and friends. I still remember that I used to iron my Milo drink packet or Milo sachet, just make it as a snack just to bite off. So yeah, that's like one of the most fun and exciting parts of boarding school.
Let's talk about the academic side. So obviously you have a remarkable run for SPM. You did 7A plus and 2As. How would one achieve that?
I would say you need to build a routine or a habit that makes you become a better student and be able to understand things better. So you need to be consistent, have discipline to study, have your own study hours, and make sure that you complete at least one round of a topic each day for each subject so you have that in your mind. So I would like to share a few tips and habits that I did. So, firstly, what I did was I would try to understand that topic instead of memorizing it. So, I would take a piece of paper, fold it in half, and then I would write down my notes. And then I would repeat that again and again until I understood the concept. And since it's a piece of paper and it's quite small and long, I could carry it anywhere. So, that's one of the tips, which is just to understand the concept. Secondly, is having friends and teachers who are really supportive of you. I would ask from my teachers past papers and practice questions so I could like practice and keep doing that until I understood, oh, this is what the question meant. And usually the questions are repetitive, it's just how it's structured, just making sure you understand that keyword from that question and topic. And then lastly, it's teach your friends. So when you teach your friends, you'll have that understanding that you can teach a certain topic without having to refer to your notes that much. And that's when you know that, okay, I can do this well because I can explain it orally, but also I can do this on paper because it's already stuck in my mind.
If you could put a number on it, right? How many hours should one study a day?
Oh, that's quite tough because that depends on that person's limitation. For me, I would study early in the morning, so around 2 to 3 hours. That includes after you enter class and waiting for your teacher. But I would wake up at least 1 hour before class starts just so that I could revise what are the topics for that day if the teacher gives you that topic. And then also after school hours, you'll have your review session that you can do independent study. So you can use that time to catch up on the day's topics.
Thanks for that, Anis. Let's talk about going to College Marabanting. So you went there, you pursued your international baccalaureate diploma. Can you walk us through how the opportunity came about?
So at first, I was offered a placement from UPU for a diploma in actuarial science at UITM Seremban. But I turned that offer down when I got the scholarship from MARA under their Young Talent Program or YTP. So I chose College Marabanting for their IB program because that was the only place that offered the actuarial science pathway. It definitely was a bit of challenge because IB was known to be a very rigorous pre-university program, but I handled it well, fortunately. So yeah.
Let's talk about the scholarship. Do you recall what was the application process like? What were the steps towards it? And how do you feel when you actually received it?
I don't really remember much, but I do remember that you have to submit your SPM grades as well as your list of extracurricular activities. That's important as well. But they also look at your ability of leadership as well as your curiosity and ability to grow further from where you are. So I think that's important. You do have your interviews. I don't think I got an assessment. It's more to just interviews, and you just have to be confident in yourself in what you can give back to them when you study and after you study.
Will you be kind enough to explain to us what exactly is the IB diploma?
Sure. So the IB diploma is a pre-university program which is holistic and rigorous. It's similar to A levels in which you do not focus just only on exams, but you'll have additions of internal assessments, research essays, and assignments that helps you with your extracurricular activities. And you'll have your 4,000 word essay, extended essay. You'll have your theory of knowledge or TOK, which kind of like challenges your critical thinking. And last but not least, you have CAS, which is your community service project.
Do you think SPM prepared you for IB diploma? Well,
Not gonna lie, it didn't because I was mostly focused on just studying back in SPM. I didn't really focus on doing research essays and like final year projects, right? Writing your thesis. So it's very new to start this sort of projects in PU. But what's good about it is it gives you exposure early on what actually university does and what happens during university, because you'll have your final year project, you have like projects that you need to collaborate with each other. So that's really important to have that mindset from IB itself.
And you scored a 40 out of 45 for your IB diploma. What are the qualities one must instill to ensure that they are able to excel?
That's quite a difficult question because you do have your exams and your internal assignments, right, for each subject. So I do burn out sometimes from the pressure of so many things happening at the same time. But what I can say is have that discipline to be consistent and start your assignments early on. Ask your teachers ahead, ask your lecturers ahead on what to expect from your internal assignments, and ask them early on past papers for that subject so you can like get an overview of what to study.
You eventually went to the University of Manchester to pursue a degree in actuarial science and mathematics. A few questions here. First of all, why actuarial science and mathematics?
Honest answer, I hate doing essays. But I love numbers just because there's an end result to it and not as subjective as essays are. But what's the reason I love actual science? It's because it involves mathematical thinking, problem solving, and those logical abilities that kind of like challenges you to like think further than what is already given.
Why the University of Manchester?
Okay. The University of Manchester is a great place because it has that student friendly environment. It has a lot of international students, so you don't feel alone. There is a Kampung Melayu there, so it's good to feel like you're at home because I was the only KMB student to pursue actual science at Manchester. But another reason why is because from your UCAS applications, you can submit 5 UK universities, right? I applied Oxford, LSE, UCL, here at Watt, and Manchester. So in the end, I only got two, which is Harriet Watt and Manchester. And I considered Manchester considering the other factors like cost, accommodation cost, living cost, and basically what societies you can join that could build your portfolio.
You mentioned the UCAS application, right? Do you mind going us through it? Like, what exactly is UCAS application?
So UCAS applications is if you're going to the UK, you have to submit your choice of top 5 UK universities through UCAS. So you'll also get some education agents to help you out. So for KMB, an agent called MABEX helped us out. So what you need to prepare is a personal statement and your predicted grades. They will also help you by setting up sessions to go through your personal statement, making sure that it's okay and it makes you stand out among other students when you apply for that university. But other than that, if you're applying for Oxbridge, in which I applied for maths at Oxford, you'll have to sit for entrance exam before entering that university. So for maths at Oxford, you'll have to sit for MAT, in which it tests your depth in understanding for maths and problem solving. And then you'll get a mock pre-interview with an overseas assessor so that in maths they'll have you answer a simple math question, but you have to explain every single calculation and steps that you're doing. So anything that you're thinking in your head, just say it out loud. So that's basically what they want to assess you on. That's basically the gist of it for entrance exam if you're applying for the top UK universities.
Anis, how would you describe the actuarial science and mathematics course at the University of Manchester? And what were your expectations going in, and did it match up with the realities of it?
How I would describe actual science to someone who's just starting or entering this course. Actuaries predict the future, not with crystal balls, but with math. So basically, they use mathematical knowledge, financial theory, as well as statistics to assess and manage risk. So they often end up in areas like insurance, pension, and finance. Actuaries are known for its high job security and ranked among the best professions, but I would say someone who would thrive in actual science is someone who loves problem solving and challenging themselves to think more than just what is given on paper with its numbers. Someone who is patient and persistent, because it takes some time to grasp those concepts, especially with all those weird symbols and all that, and someone who is detail oriented. I would say that the reality of studying actuarial science to some extent meets my expectations, but it goes more than just that basic level maths. It goes really deep into the history of maths. The concepts are more abstract than what I initially thought it was. So you really need to have that independent study to like understand more, and it's even better if you have a study group so you can understand the concepts in a more simple terms.
What are the things that people should know before they pursue a degree in actuarial science?
I would say that you have to expect that the pace of learning is very fast. So do start your study early on. Please attend your lectures, don't skip them, because even one single information that is presented by your lecturers are actually important and may end up in your exams. Start revising early. You may not understand some concepts at first, and make sure you retain that information over time as you progress through your course, because your initial learning in your first years and your second year will end up helping you understand better in your final year exams.
And so let's talk a bit about your life while you were studying, right? One of the things that popped up was that you served in MALECS as the head of the media department. Do you mind running us through what does MALECS do, what is MALECS, and what was your role?
Yeah, sure. So MALEC stands for Malay Language and Culture Society. So it's a student organization that holds events and initiatives for students in Manchester so that they have a sense of belonging and something to look forward to and something to remember Malaysia by in Manchester. What I do as a webmaster or head of the media department is I handle the organization's social media, content creation, as well as communications. That's important to me to be part of that society, because I believe that attending university is just more than academics, but you need to have that sense of leadership to help you bring yourself up, especially when doing your resume. And it goes back to my hobby of creative arts, which I love.
You touched on this a bit in your answer earlier, but are there things that you can learn in student organizations which you're not able to learn from a textbook or from a lecture?
Okay, so my course, actual science, is a lot of independent study, and they don't really have much of, I don't think there's group projects at all. So I believe that this society or joining organizations is important to have that teamwork and collaboration skill. And if you take up the leadership role, that's even better. So yeah, that gives you exposure to being able to talk with people and build up your social skills.
You also work part time with an organization called RunThrough. First of all, what does RunThrough do? Second, how do you manage your time?
So RunThrough is a organization that manages weekend marathons. So my job, my part-time job, only happens on weekends. So it doesn't affect my study days at all. So that's good for me. How I handle it is I live in a house with some housemates that are from Malaysia as well. So we take turns of cooking dinner. We have our own chores of who is doing what per day. I have classes every day, physical classes, Monday till Friday from morning until evening, which is crazy. Unlike my peers who from other courses who only have like 2 to 3 classes per week, and which is mostly online. So I envy them a lot, but it builds your resilience to managing your time all right. So since I only have the weekends, I do alternate my part-time job schedules, having 1 week off so that I have the time to myself and just rest so I can prepare myself for the next academic week. But the reason why I joined RunThrough or having these part-time jobs is because I was bored, and I just wanted to do something on the weekends that is profitable for my future savings.
Let's talk about coming back then. Upon graduation, obviously you came back and you're in your current role, which is as a LEAP executive at Malaysian Aviation Group. Do you mind talking us through what is LEAP and what is expected in the program itself?
Okay, so LEAP stands for Leadership Executive Accelerated Program, and it's by Malaysia Aviation Group, and it's a graduate program for fresh grads or for those still under 28 that you can join, and you will be developed as a young talent to become future leaders in the industry. So basically, they'll give you mentorship from top CEOs as well as structured training and rotations across different business units so that you get kind of like a gist of what each business unit does and goes through so that you could understand the business better and you can lead from there.
What attracted you to the program?
On top of the travel benefits that you get
Oh,
from,
so like, you get like, I presume, discounted ticket prices?
not just that, you get
Ooh.
like multiple discounted prices on flight tickets, but you also get annual free tickets. Yes.
Ooh, okay, cool.
So you get annual free flight tickets every year that you can like get your family to go fly with you anywhere you want. Yeah,
Anywhere?
that Malaysia Airlines can bring you.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, if you're interested in travel industry, you can join any airlines and get travel benefits. So on top of that, it's not just that because of why I joined LEAP, but it's because I was looking for a program, especially a graduate program that could have that learning opportunities that I was looking for as well as career growth. And I believe that LEAP actually could give me that.
And what were the biggest considerations you had when you were applying for either a graduate program or a job in Malaysia? Was it the salary? Was it the growth opportunity? Was it the environment? Was it the company, the brand, the prestige? What was going through your mind?
I think the first thing that goes through a student's mind when applying for a job is salary, especially with the economy nowadays. But for me personally, I would look at learning opportunities and career growth because you need to grow with the skills learned from your workplace, and that's how you can be a better version of yourself and be more attractive to other employers as well if you're looking to job hop. Salary and brand name is just as important, but I believe that is important later on in your life if you want to have that stability.
For students or for yourself, right, when you were applying for the LEAP program, what was the application process like? Do you mind walking us through from start to finish?
What I remembered was that you'll have your application process in which you submit your CV and your basic details about yourself. And now there's a pre online assessment in which you submit a short video of yourself explaining who you are and what you can contribute to the company as well, something interesting about yourself. After that, if you're shortlisted, you'll be able to attend interviews, a few interviews with human capital as well as people in the industry that could guide you, and they'll test you on some things in which you're capable of working with others, whether you have that curiosity to help the company grow. And besides interviews, you'll have your assessment center activities, so they'll see how you collaborate with other people well and whether you can think outside of the box with the type of activity they give. Yeah.
So, from start to finish, how long does the process take?
It really depends. During my time, it only took 2 to 3 weeks. But for the recent batch, it took around 1 month or so. So it really depends.
And how long is the program? And is there anything that comes with it? Like, are you supposed to stay with the company for a period of time after?
So the LEAP program is a 3-year structured program. To be more specific, is a 3+1 structured bond program. So you'll go through rotations for 3 years. So one department, 1 year. Halfway through your final year, you'll be promoted to as acting assistant manager. It's a permanent role from the start, so that's why you slowly transition in your final year. And if you pass, your supervisor will promote you to assistant manager at the end of your final year, and you'll have to serve a 1-year bond with the company before you can exit the company.
So just to be clear, it means that first of all, it's a permanent role, and second, if you graduate the program, you are confirmed the position as assistant manager.
To some extent, yes.
Okay.
Let's say in your final year, you didn't really perform that well. Don't worry, you won't be kicked out. The worst case scenario is that you'll be promoted to a senior executive. But the chances of you getting assistant manager is much more higher. Yeah.
You are currently in loyalty travel services. What is that?
Is loyalty and travel services. It's two things. It's one of the business pillars under MAG. We have
Yeah.
three business pillars. One is LTS, one is aviation services, and another is airline business. So under loyalty and travel services, you'll have Enrich, MH Holidays, and Journeyfy. My portfolio is MH Holidays and Journeyfy, which is a online travel services platform that offers flight and hotel products, tours and attractions, and merchandise. Yep, that's basically the overview of what LTS is.
Anis, what does your day to day look like in LTS?
So in LTS, I do various things because as an all-rounder, you're supposed to be capable of a lot of things. So what I do is I analyze data. So I create simulations and dashboards using Excel and Power BI, as well as doing content creation for the marketing team and develop ideas for new travel offerings or campaigns. I'm also part of the project management office, in which I handle events and initiatives in the team from end to end.
Now that you've been with MAG for 6 months, what has been the biggest adjustment from university life to working life?
In university, you have a flexible time schedule, so you'll have your own pace of studying. You can study with your friends. You do have deadlines, but sometimes you can negotiate with your lecturers to like push it a bit later than usual. But once you enter the workforce, a deadline is a deadline. I would say perfection is important when doing your task, but progress is better than perfection. So in workplace, as long as you have progress and able to show off your skills, that's more important.
What advice would you have, Anis, for people who are, first of all, looking for jobs after they've graduated and settling into their jobs once they've received it?
My advice is don't rush things. Try to understand each company that you're applying for and whether it suits your long term career goal and whether you have the motivation to pursue it. Sometimes you won't get what you want. That's why it's important to be resilient and be adaptable to changing circumstances. Once you enter a workforce or a job, just make sure that you take time to settle down. Don't be that person to like know everything at once. Understand how the environment is first before you start showing off your skills. Otherwise, they will bomb you with a lot of tasks that you may or may not be able to do.
Now that we've gone through everything, right, can you describe your journey Lepas Sekolah in 3 words?
Uncertainty, resilience, and courage. I'm Anis, and this is my journey, Lepas Sekolah.